What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Huddle, the number one podcast in flooring. We're here every week to help you gain forward progress in your flooring career. Simply put, we're here to help you guys win. For all our new viewers, welcome to the team. This week, we are going to come up with the episode as we go, maybe. Or we might hang in there. We were going to have a guest for our resilient flooring, kind of where it's at, trends going on, things to be looking forward to in 2026. So we'll decide on the fly. Today's sponsors wanted to introduce you guys to a new sponsor called Live Switch. Live Switch is AI driven video technology that you can leverage to get your quotes out faster, budget quotes out to customers all remotely, and then follow up, saving you time to getting them a price and getting a deal done. Uh, Helping you not have to go out to the customer's office or house or office every time to get them a quick budget price. It does so much more. Check out Live Switch. Just scan the QR code. Also brought to you by Trade Tap and the VTI coming out. Fully functional VTIs will be coming out at the first of the year. We're going to officially, I think, publicly launch that at Tice. So look forward to seeing everybody there. If you're not going to Tice, you might look it up, man. It's going to be a fun time. You can come hang out with us. We're going to do a podcast there with Wi-Fi. That's going to be a blast.
I know they just put everything on their social medias yesterday. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. We're gonna host your Huddle team here is going to host a live Wi-Fi panel. I think it's done. I mean, they do it every year, and yeah, it's going to be a blast. We got a great episode planned for that. So I hope you guys can make it. If not, make sure you're here at least and you're checking us out. We're going to live stream it just like normal.
Because even if you can't make it, you can make it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it all.
And only
And
bring tomatoes to throw at us if you're not there in person.
you can get your questions answered. If you're a woman in the flooring industry, whether you're in sales, installation, management, you're a CEO, jump on there, ask the panel some questions, get in the chat and get involved. It's going to be a fun time.
And
Um,
if you're like you've never been there, so you're kind of iffy, like, do I even want to go? Because what am I going to do? Who am I going to see? And you're scared that you're not gonna. I don't know, man. It's just really good networking. You just got to find one of us and
yeah,
follow us around. We'll introduce you to whoever we know there.
dude, come
Yep.
hang with us. That's how I met these guys. It was like at Tice, and I was like, I'm gonna follow them until they start liking me. And no, we
It was
got
the
together.
backpacks. It was the backpacks. Don't lie. It was the
It
backpacks.
was the backpacks. No, it was a blast, and that's where I met you guys. I've met so many people at Tice and convention and stuff. So, as normal, we're always going to promote getting involved in the industry, and you can uh, really come in and get to know the VTI and Trade Tap. That's what powers Trade Tap, and we're going to be at the CFI booth, so you can come check us out there. We're going to be roaming around and having a good time on top of that. So, are we going to stick with our topic of resilient flooring, guys, or
We
would
are
you
gonna
like
stick with
to?
it, man.
All right.
Because I think it's actually very important right now because of this project that we've been dealing with. And you were actually called me, I don't know, month and a half ago, maybe it was more than that, but
A
about,
couple months
this
ago.
non-PVC, right? And that's the big push right now. Oh, what's up? Jimmy's on Instagram, says, huddle up team.
Huddle up, team. I love it.
But yeah, it's this whole push to non-PVC, right? And this is why I wanted to talk about this. Like the future. What are we seeing? And I keep on telling people that it's kind of like, I don't want to say it's going backwards, but we're kind of in that area where sheet vinyl and stuff was like linoleum is it's hard to install, right? And that's kind of how it all was back in the day. And then there was a progression to where, all right, let's make it easier and easier and easier till now you got stuff that you can pretty much, you can crumble it up, put it out, glue it down. Now we're kind of going back to the opposite side of things where it's like, man, this stuff is so brittle. You look at it and it's going to break.
Yeah. And just as a note, you know this, but it's not just sheet vinyl that, although the sheet vinyl is the harder one to deal with, but they are also have modular products that are bio-based or non-PVC, and they have different installation requirements. I'm telling you guys, you go, Daniel, back me up, brother. You go trying to install this like you do a regular, especially a better sheet vinyl, like a high vinyl content sheet vinyl, like a Symbiose or a Upo or something like that. You are in the surprise of your lifetime trying to, like, if you try to do the same techniques. I'd second what Daniel said. It went early days. I never looked at it as hard. It was just different ways of doing it. We pattern
Yeah.
felted everything. You weren't trying to like like kind of just kind of hack stuff in. But as vinyl got, a little, I would say better. It was not as easily torn. Some of the older vinyls, they're still around that would tear easy. We didn't even mess with it. We pattern felt the sucker. And you kind of got into some other vinyls that you could hack and slash in, and then you could just use really good hand skills. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean it was the wrong way to do it. It just, you could, cut it in without pattern felting at first. This stuff, man, it's almost back, like Daniel said, to that beginning stage. You better know how to pattern felt and use a set of scribes. You got to know how to boot it. One of the things, what is the most difficult thing for you, Daniel, when you're welding what's the thing that people need to know the difference between welding a heterogeneous sheet vinyl versus a homogeneous sheet vinyl? What are one of those deals you would?
Well, you're looking at the wear layers, right? And if you burn that wear layer on, I don't want to say burn, maybe is a
Scorch.
scorch, right?
Yeah.
All you got to do is discolor it. You don't even have to do that. All you have to do is heat it up too much, and then on a hetero piece, it's gonna end up, looking all wavy,
We call
and
it waffling. That's our
yeah,
own
Waffling.
term.
and
It
then
kind of
it can
waffles the seam up.
and it can actually start delaminating too, right? And on a homogeneous piece, you don't have to worry about that because it's homogeneous. It's all the same material all the way through. So you just have to be more careful, especially when you're skiving and stuff too. That's what, you got to be super careful because you just take that little bit off and then it's like an entire, say on an outside corner, you take a little bit off, now you got a white line down the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you'd bring that part up because it's one of the things that a lot of guys, we forgive you, Andy. We're gonna carry the
Still
torch,
can.
brother.
You don't
I
have to
don't.
be on your
Uh,
camera.
yeah, you could if you want to call in, you can do that and just not be on camera. But it's all good. We got you, brother. But the one of the things that a lot of guys had to learn as heterogeneous got more and more popular with the wood grains and all that stuff was you can't, you know, don't use a skive knife without sled, or if you are, you got to be really careful because your seams aren't always perfectly flat, and you nick it and then you got a freaking white chunk
I,
right
I
in a
will.
wood grain
I will
vinyl.
say
We've
this.
got some tricks,
There are some
but
tricks. First one, don't if you're using an actual knife and not like the Mozart, don't let anybody else use your tools, man. Only you know how that thing operates. Only sharpen one side. Like don't make. I've made those mistakes. Those are some of the tricks, right? And and find your sweet spot. Find your sweet spot, your
Well, and
angle, and
there's better tools out there,
there
honestly.
is.
Um, Nora kind of came out with their what is that called,
Cold
Daniel?
weld.
Well, no, they're the red
The Mozart.
is that the Mozart? Is that what that originally was
Yeah,
called when
oh, you know what? They have a green one, and then they have the red
No,
one.
the green one is a Leicester.
Is that what?
Yeah,
Okay.
that one came out after the
and then the
fact.
red one is Mozart from Crane or
Well, it's Mozart from Mozart, but they're overseas, so people buy the rights to sell it over here.
oh, gotcha.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. It's a better method than old-fashioned skive knife, but the point being is the new vinyls are just like that, and that it's even worse because you can't even nick the seam because that layer, the image layer, is
And like
it's
on a hetero piece, right? You can go and they'll just kind of follow. If you do it on the new stuff, it's like you go and they'll start peeling up like
it's
away
like
from it.
paper, dude. You could peel the top off of that
Yeah.
stuff. I'm not saying any manufacturer's names here, but and I'm not saying that that's not supposed to happen, but I'm just telling you, you can't heat this stuff up and make it more pliable. I experimented with it in our module, in our install module, to try to get to know it a little bit. I was trying to become friends, and we weren't friends at the end of the thing. Like, I messed up quite a few pieces just trying to figure it out.
But I think that's the difference between someone like you and then just like another salesperson or business owner, right? Because you're like, let me go mess with this to see what's going on. Like I'm dealing with people that are like, why can't this be done? What is going on? And then I have to, as a consultant, be like, listen, guys, this material isn't what you think it
We're
is.
calling it sheet vinyl. They should have came out with a completely new category or something.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, are they still calling it sheet vinyl?
Well, the tech guys tell you not to, but I mean, I got on the phone with the tech guy because I was like wanting to get to some more information. And he goes, "All right, out of the gate, don't call it sheet vinyl." He goes, "There's
Resilient.
no vinyl in this thing," and I was like, "Granted, what am I? You know, what it's being written in the specs of sheet vinyl is what I'm saying, but the those products, man, and then the LVTs or the modular like products, they all have to be wet set, or at least all of them that I have dealt with.
Oh, let me get that for you
And
I
real quick.
okay,
I always know when Paul's reading the messages.
As
yeah,
he
I just
stops.
stopped.
He
Yeah,
Andy
says,
I'm
says,
and
call it sheet goods.
sheet goods. Yeah, yeah. The working on that freaking stuff was tough, but you know what? I love doing that, trying to figure stuff out like that. We did get it, um, and we've got about 3,200 yards of it down at a big hospital, and so we're 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 doing well and working with the guys. Have a really good sheet vinyl resilient sheet installer on it, and he did just like I did. He messed with it for a little bit to figure it out, and that's key, guys. Anytime you're dealing with a product that you don't know, read as much as you can about it, and then go play with it. If you have any chance of time to go play with it, go play with it.
Yeah,
You know,
and I mean, even, we brought some back here prior to us doing the first project because it's like I'm reading on it and it's like, man, I've heard about it. That was my first time actually seeing it, so it's like, let me get some of this so I can bring it back here and I can play with it. and see exactly what people are talking about. Mr. Andy,
Everybody hear me?
Yeah,
we can
we
hear you.
have Andy McWilliams on the phone. Well, he's
Say,
kind of on, just not with video.
yeah.
I'm riding dirty on 85. Slow, taking it easy. So
Nice.
Got you, brother.
Well, welcome
Sorry
to
for the last minute thing, but appreciate you reaching out.
yeah, absolutely. I remember that you guys were on, driving down the interstate like, man, what do I do? And I'm like, oh yeah, let me see if they're live. I wanted to join, but I couldn't because I'm driving. I didn't know I could join without camera, so I'm glad to be on.
Yeah, I tried telling Kevin to just rebook his flight, and he said no.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's not. Well, first of all, he's going to hear this, so he didn't even want to travel in the first place. So he's already huffing and puffing about that. So he's
Hell
definitely
yeah.
not rebooking his flight. So actually headed to the airport now from another technical trip that I just got off of, and flying to meet him in Indiana. So that'll be fun.
Andy.
Wow.
For the guys that don't know you, do a quick intro since we can't see you. They won't be able to put a face to a name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody.
Obviously, just I clean the bathrooms at our manufacturing facility. I am Andy McWilliams, Senior Technical Manager for Novalis. Novalis is a vinyl plank manufacturer, vinyl flooring manufacturer, actually. So we have multiple locations around the world, and my home office is in Dalton. So I've been with Novalis for about 6 years now. Got an installation background, installing carpet and vinyl. So all sorts of other surfaces, but my main two were carpet and vinyl over the years.
Well,
I'm
for the
actually-
audience, Andy's been on with us before, a wealth of knowledge and
Yeah,
a
and
hell of a fun guy to talk to.
I'm looking at some of your product right now too. This Ava Sway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting.
Still waiting for my samples to come in the mail.
Was I supposed to send those?
No,
I think it was the other dude that was there at the booth.
Well, tell us about this product.
Okay, so Ava Sway it's pretty interesting. It's herringbone or chevron style product. So, and it's both in a gluten format.
Dude.
You're gonna have to finish up for him there, Jose.
Oh, did he cut out? Of
Yep.
course. So it was a glue down, like you said, glue down or interlocking format, and he blew my mind with the amount of patterns that he could do with these little 1 foot pieces. I don't remember the exact dimensions. That's why I wanted to get some samples sent over.
They're like so the herringbone style is 6 inches. Yep, sorry. I don't know what it is with me jumping on these calls with you guys, but I always seem to go out of connection at least once. The herringbone is a 6x24 plank, and the glue down is just as simple as putting it into a herringbone pattern and installing it. The chevron is usually a 4x24, but it's cut at the factory on the correct angles to form the chevron pattern. So pretty cool. The herringbone is an AA, so you don't have to worry about separating those two to install the herringbone together.
What do you mean by AA, brother?
On the click. So AA and AB, that's the plank. So you have an A plank and a B plank, or an A plank and an A plank, right? So with the click version of it, you would need to with herringbones. A lot of times, the planks are A and B because the locking mechanisms have to be cut a certain way for the herringbone method to stick to click together properly. With our herringbone, it's a Unilin locking mechanism called Unizip, and the way they designed it was you can actually you don't have to have two different styles of plank locking systems. They just click into each other, so they're called an AA system.
Gotcha.
And then for the chevron, the locking style on there is your normal unipush, what most people call it, and all it is the difference between that one is the way it's manufactured is actually cut on the exact angle of the chevron pattern, so there's no need for cutting it on site. I know there was one year where Crystal was doing the installation competition where she had to cut all that chevron. And man, I felt for her that whole time. That was rough. Well, for us, we actually make it like that so the installers don't have to cut it on site, and it installs pretty easily.
Huh. Cool. So what do you got to say about the
Yep.
the non-PVC resilient products coming on that's out on the market now? You got any insight?
Okay. Well, I mean,
The sheet
I think
good.
it's just like anything else. Sheet good non-PVC. I think there's a huge push for non-PVC around the industry. The one thing I'll say is it's being marketed as this, fix all. Everybody's scared of PVC, but I think at the end of the day, people are going to end up finding out that, it's not as great of a product as everybody's making it out to be. I'm just going to say that. There's not a whole lot of big details I can go into with it. I'm not a huge fan of it.
We feel you tiptoeing around it, and we appreciate you even trying to find the words to get out there, to be honest with you.
The truth is it's incredibly complicated to install. And as we know in the industry a lot of times, and this is not just flooring, like a lot of industries do this, they take a product to market with pretty minimal testing, like long-term testing. And that's, again, not just, and then you refine and try to make it better as you go. I think this is one of those products. You guys ever, if you ever mess with plumbing, did you ever do PVC, like a pipe with the sharp tooth connections? Okay, those things failed so often early on. Now they're pretty freaking awesome. But that's an example of a product in the plumbing world that went to market, had huge problems, but it got past all their initial testing for them to sell it at Lowe's and Home Depot. I should say your big box retailers, but they improved on it, and it's actually a really awesome product to use now. But I kind of see this as that early stage. That's just my opinion. We did do, like I said, about 3,200 yards of it, and we got it down. It looks really nice, but it was a complicated deal. It was tough.
So, go ahead, Daniel.
This is one of those things where when people say I've been doing it this way for 20 years, I kind of got to step back and be like, yeah, we need to do this the same way you guys were installing it 20 years ago.
That might actually work now.
Yeah.
So I have a question, right? And it's more along the lines of why are we reverting to something like this? What is the big push? What is the purpose of it? And and what is it going to do for the future of resilient? Obviously there's got to be a reason, right? Is it legit, or is it just a marketing?
And I think that's what I was gonna say. I think it's kind of in that marketing realm to where you look at like healthcare, right? Because they use a lot of resilient, and then it's
they do. They use a ton of resilient, and the problem when you're bringing a new market out is the places you're marketing to are these huge jobs, though, like healthcare. Nothing like taking a new product and introducing it in one of the largest project types.
What do you think, Andy? Is it more marketing, or is there actually like some science behind the health of everything?
It's kind of both. It's kind of both. From one aspect, it's more of the the green part of it. Trying to find percent virgin PVC is really hard to do. And obviously, the marketing side gets wind as a new product that is, PVC free or free, that, somebody has put on a red list that this could cause, issues down the road. They're gonna push it. So, with all the things about microplastic coming out these days, there's a huge push to push PVC out of the market.
And I think it's just like the renewable aspect, right? Because it's not as easily recycled as some of the other materials.
Right, but PVC free. Next question is, okay, well, what does it have then? Right, and how long have these products been on the market, and how much testing has went into those, and how healthy are they for us? So that would be my question. We as a company don't have any PVC products or PVC free. But I'm sure at some point we'll be looking into testing those and maybe using some, but we're still kind of staying the course with PVC. So I don't know. I have some dirty testing performed, and I'll say one thing about the I received, that I couldn't find anything to stick to. It was pretty rough, we put it through some testing, and it was scary, to be honest with you. And knowing that there's these products on the market and that using them, I'm worried about the failures that are going to come with them.
Yeah, and I think we're already kind of in the midst of seeing some of that stuff right now. I mean, just on the projects that we've been working on, and it's like they're already on, they have multiple different variations of them out already, and it's like version 3, but then they bought it when it was version 1. So if there's issues, was it because it was an old version, or is it because the material, or is it an installation issue? Is it job site conditions? Like, what is going on? And I think it just makes it so that way, everyone from the installer all the way to the inspector needs to kind of look at this through a lens, and we're all inspectors at this point.
Yeah, so that's a weird way to look at it too, Daniel. You just made me think about something. It's from version 1 to version 3, and then however many versions over the next, let's just say, 2-year span. At what point is the failure going to be not the installer, right?
Like, yeah, are we
where's
in
the transition?
Are we in the paper straw? The paper straw kind of thing.
We just draw the short straw every time.
No, I mean, they came out with paper straws, and those things where everybody tried to use them, and they were shit, and people ended up throwing them.
Literally the worst.
People got rid of. Were like these, like where it just doesn't quite work, and now you go anywhere and you get your good old fashioned, pretty much back to the good old fashioned paper or not. Plastic straws,
plastic straws, right?
Back away from.
It's almost like we'll try it out for a little bit, and then when things start, everyone starts pushing back. It's like, yeah, you guys were right. Let's just go back to what we were doing before.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we're in that zone where it's like, and I hope to hell not, because we got a lot of it down. Tell you the truth,
right?
Like,
and Andy, I don't know if you muted yourself or if one of the guys muted you.
But I muted him, but he's not. I've unmuted him a few times, and he's I think he's in a bad area.
Probably, he's going through tunnel. He's going through tunnel.
But yeah, if we're in the paper straw kind of zone of this thing, and we just don't know what kind of problems are going to come down the pipe, and that's what I mean by long-term testing. Like Andy said, all the recycled backing stuff that why didn't they stick with that? Well, because backing systems were being made over in China, and they were putting all kinds of crap. You can't stick to the floor, and all kinds of crap that was worse than the PVC on the back of carpet tile when they were doing recycled backings on carpet tile so much.
Well,
And they've kind of gotten around and fixed that. The big manufacturers, put their heads to the test. I think they got it fixed out, but there was a lot of times when those backing systems were like, there was stuff in them. There's some tests. There was some stuff in them that's not good. I think we all remember the lumber liquidator days, and I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, but it was a public thing, so I think so.
yeah.
But formaldehyde and all this other junk in the products. I mean, what are they putting in this crap? Like, what is it made of, and is the juice worth the squeeze? That's my question.
Well, I guess another question too
Chicken
is
beaks and claws.
That's in the tamales, bro.
yeah. So I guess the question is too is PVC free. What is the trade off, and what markets are thriving from that right now? Right, like if once the trade off happened in the manufacturing portion or the supplier portion, what markets are experiencing growth because of the change?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. And Andy brought up a good question, like what is in it? And it's almost always like you don't really know. And I've heard there's a lot of like oil or something, like these things that make it really difficult to stick to the floor. We've gotten through on our side, and I support, like, let's save the environment. Let's do what we can. I'm not
And
probably the guy that's you know saying that every bit of CO2 we put in the atmosphere is causing climate change. I'm not that guy, but I do believe we should take care of the environment and do what we can to make, keep nature beautiful. And if we can produce products that are non-toxic and, you know, don't don't get tainted by the money, that's the part.
and that's where it really, I think that's where it's focused on, right? Is you look at the money and what government subsidies are happening right now in order to go PVC free because it's more environmentally friendly. Um, just looking at some of these prints, it's like I'm looking over here, HPD free or something. It had its own category on the print, like so it knew any item that was in this, and I think that's where um companies are like, hey, we have to do this in order to get more on the government side. And I mean, they probably tie this to CEOs bonus checks and stuff like that, so the CEO is going to push it, right? And it just, it's one of
Yeah,
those
I don't
things
know
that's
the tangled mess that comes along with it all, but I'll tell you that it it always sounds good. All these products, and not just in flooring. I'm talking across. They sound good until you know
until it's not good.
until it's not good, and we all have to endure. And I mean I'm talking tradesmen in general. Have to endure the almost the testing of it. I mean, it gets tested to some extent, surely, and we
Right, but
can
it's,
all probably agree to that.
you
But
don't know
it's
until it's installed in a building and it's been in there for a year, 2 years, what's going to happen.
yeah, and what's the what's how does it degrade under constant environmental pressures? The We all
And
know there is no perfectly dry concrete, so under some emissions, and you're talking years of in a hospital under those conditions with
you
heavy rolling loads and
you kind
all
of got to
that
look at
stuff.
it in terms of asbestos was in the flooring before, and it was
What a
totally fine at
great
one point.
what a great building product that was. Too bad it caused cancer, but man,
Yeah, but everything causes it, right? Like everything. What's the leading cause of cancer? Life.
well,
Oxygen.
you really, I mean, obviously mesothelioma was, I
But
mean,
that's
it did have
It
an
is, yeah.
outbreak because of, the asbestos that we used in building materials. And I understand that. Um, what what that's killing people though. That's a different story than the PVC. What is the what is the number one complaint against PVC, the PVC?
so I'm looking it up, and it's the VOCs and Daniel. What is that PT? I can't say that word right now. I'm drawing a blank. Um, but it's the VOCs and the quality control of the air and the potential cancer links, hormone disruption, uh, plus the desire for more sustainable, durable, innovative options. That's why
And
the
I
big
That's
mean,
the
push.
part. That's the part
Yeah,
I've heard the most is not the um more of the recyclable, more reusable product is the reason.
well,
I wasn't
I
sure
get.
about it. Like, what's the
So
big
this is all
hoo-ha about
because of
it? Is
the
it?
refining process, right?
Hmm.
Because it's not going to be because of uh, like migration of anything through the flooring right now. Everything I'm reading right now is going back to the refining process when it is removed. Um, green buildings, reduced emissions, sustainable. They're more sustainable materials, so I guess they can be reused more times.
yeah, and it says that just the ingredients that actually go into PVC can't are not as easily regulated, right? Because you can say that you put something in there, but they don't know how much you put, like plasticizers. And everyone knows, I mean, if you don't know, you should know that plasticizers end up evaporating off, and then once they evaporate off, you're gonna be breathing that stuff in, right? But and I posed the question to a tech rep that I met on site. I was like, "Well, what's in it if it's not a plasticizer?" And he was just like, "I cannot even tell you that right now. I'm just the guy here for the install."
But
Huh.
you know what? I think somebody is trying to like. This is a soup, right? Like it's like menudo. You guys don't really want to know what's in it. Just know that it tastes good, right? Just don't ask me what's in it, because then you're not going to want to eat it. Just you'll be fine.
Are you
It,
saying that the new vinyls are like are like
I
Manila?
don't. We don't know yet. We don't know yet, man. They haven't
Jorge
been out
did
long
say
enough for
chicken
everyone to
beaks
taste
and
them.
claws.
Yeah, he did.
I
There was
think
a
that's
tamale that my mom got when I was in high school from someone that she worked with, and I took a bite of it, and there was a chicken foot in there.
The whole thing, bro.
The whole thing.
oh my God. I like
He still he still ate it, but
that's hilarious. Well, okay,
uh,
so it's like that. The deal is you don't know what's in it. And just to kind of do a bit of process check here, where is it going? Is there indicators, and this is where Andy would be like
Yeah, he said that he has service now,
good.
but I told him to like log off and log back in to see if that works.
Yeah. Um, what 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 is do we think that it's going to continue that way, or is there other products coming to market that might be a little easier to handle? That's my kind of
I think it's just
hope.
like an evolution of things, right? Like when vinyl came out, it was not as easy. It was almost like the the linoleums and stuff. And now it's ridiculously easy, but we're just essentially starting over. And then not only with like going from a pressure sensitive back to a wet set, because we were starting to do that with the vinyls anyway. So this just makes that shift more enforceable. Like there's no doubt about it. You have to wet set this stuff or else it's not gonna lock down like it needs to be.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we're exiting and I'd be curious if a manufacturer's stance is this or not, but are we exiting the dimensional stability era where we, uh, you know, the old products, um, the adhesive was not there to keep them down or keep them dimensionally stable. They just keep them from sliding. And so, are we leaving that zone where it's like, and also where you have to use the manufacturer's um, recommended, like their adhesive? You can't, how
Yes.
back in the day you could use
We can
anybody's
hear you,
adhesive.
Andy.
What's up, Andy?
You can hear me now?
We can hear you
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies, guys. I obviously 85 South is not great with service. So, yes, recommend. I missed all of that. I know the last thing I heard was, Andy, you could probably say something to this, and then it went out about
Of
2 minutes
course.
ago.
Well, we were kind of curious, like, what is is this the you had mentioned that Novalis may be even looking at PVC and free in the future. Is that going to continue? Like, is this just a trend that's going to end, or is it really going to stick?
I
Like,
mean, one thing
do
I'll say
you?
is like,
I mean,
we would never switch over to 100%, PVC free products. It would be more so a line of some sort, and on one of our, brands. But it's definitely possible. And then your other question was what now?
well, if this is a trend, like, with enough conviction to the and commitment to the cause, it'll get figured out. Will it make it there? We were talking about the paper straws, right? Like, they were
Yep.
everywhere
Yep.
for a little bit until they started falling apart as you're drinking your drink and
Yeah.
people started, like, not wanting to use them. Are we in that zone where eventually this is, I know it's all opinion, but I'd be interested in yours. Are we in that zone where eventually this just goes away, or is there such a commitment to this from the manufacturing and maybe, like Daniel said, government side, that commitment, they're going to find a way for this to work out
I don't think
one way
we're
or
in
another?
that
Green
zone
bill.
yet. I don't think we're in that zone yet. I don't think there's.
As soon as he started talking, it was about to be really good explanation too. Andy,
Not in the zone of full commitment is what I heard, though.
yeah, and I think that he's
Yeah,
right
exactly.
because you're going to have certain product lines, right? And then what they're going to end up doing is they're going to end. Yeah, we can hear you now. I think they're going to end up, pushing this out like it's healthier for you, so we're going to charge more for it, which makes sense because also
Yep.
the installers need to be on that same page too because it's like,
I
all
wanted to
right,
add to
it's
that.
harder to install. I'm going to charge more for it, so it's going to be that premium
Exactly.
product that is more unattainable to the everyday person. But when you're looking at sustainability and you want that, it's going to be okay, this is what I'm going to go with. And that's why I think like we've installed Forbo in $1 million houses, and they're not putting hard tiles and all this. They're like, I'm going to do something sustainable. I'm going to do Forbo in the kitchen, the dining room, and I'm going to put wool flooring over here because everything is that sustainable factor. And you can kind of brag to your friends about it, I guess.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've done some Forbo in an architect's house in his kitchen and living area, but I think it was more he liked the look of it, but more than anything. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely hard to know where the industry's going versus where the um, the marketplace's appetite for being able to deal with the problems and the failures, and that goes all the way to us as the installers.
You must be at the airport. So I want to kind of expand on what Daniel had just said, and that's where I wrote some of my notes down. Where I was going with that is that it is going to create separation on installations, right? It's gonna be one of those things where you're going to have to get better at installing. You're going to have to learn how to install, and there might be a requirement in the future to either be at a certain level of installer or have certain qualifications or certifications. And if that is going to be a premium product and it is going to be introduced into certain areas as a premium product, then you're going to be looking at a premium install. And a premium installer is going to be required, which means that you're not doing yourself any favors if you're not trying to get educated.
And that's the message to all the installers. If you start messing with this stuff or you want to get that skill, make sure you're plugging in and getting the training around it, because it's like wool carpet, a tufted wool or something. Like you can't just go start throwing that stuff down and burning seams and calling it good. You're going to mess it up if you haven't been properly trained on it. Flat weaves and these types of products in the carpet world that are premium products require somebody who understands how to mess with them. And this might be that product in the resilient world that, you really got to charge higher. The problem is we all know that some estimator and salesman at another flooring company is going to bid it just like sheet vinyl. They're going to get the job, and that's what's going to happen. And that is what happens.
Installer's going to go in there and install it exactly like sheet vinyl, and then look at it when it's failing, and it's like, I did everything right. And that's the thing, right? It's like, full disclosure, guys, we always tell you to read the buckets, and now I'm going to tell you to pull up the actual product specs and not just read the bucket, because that adhesive may have an old label on it and you could be installing it wrong. And I mean, you have a story about that you've told a few times too, where the things online are different than what's on the bucket. So you just need to make sure you're covering all your bases.
Yeah, if that one turned out in our favor, because we did go online and read the most updated installation instructions, but the instructions in the packet were the exact opposite.
Man.
And they brought that. We actually was in a suit on that job, and that was the whole thing. Was like they thought we installed it incorrectly, and that was their big crux around some of the issues they were having with the floors. They said we installed it upside down. I said, no, you go by that packet. It's so they can't recall millions. This was a LVT underlayment product. They can't recall millions of rolls of their product to change out the paper. It's our job as professionals to go make sure we have the most update installation instructions, and we do that by getting online or talking to the tech department at the manufacturer. That, unfortunately, there's no great way to solve that problem other than being diligent as an installer and going in and doing the homework. And, that's why I tell installers, man, if you're a sole proprietor, your best bet, not legal advice, not a financial advisor, all that disclosure stuff, or an attorney, but protect yourself with a corporate structure. Like, don't be a sole proprietor out there just running around putting stuff in. You're putting all your personal life and assets at risk. Get with your accountant and attorney on that. But, that's why we're always in favor of running your installation business like a business.
I got one thing that, like, do you think that a good way to explain some of the materials, whether it's resilient, whether it's carpet, I mean, anything, is the list of things not to do will always be a lot longer than the list of things you can do to get it done right? Does that sound fairly accurate? And that goes back to, like, I did it this way for this many years, so I know I'm doing it right. But out of this many years, 20 of the 30 things are on the no-fly zone for newer materials.
Well, I think Jorge's comment fits that perfectly. Get it out until we catch them and then call them out. Like, it's almost like we're there. Sometimes the tradesmen are the testing and that's why I'm curious of where we're at in this product cycle for this. I mean, we spent this whole podcast talking about this, but this particular piece of resilient flooring. But it's because if it is the future, you had better get educated and trained to properly install this stuff. It's not your average everyday stuff. So that's why we spent so much time on it. But it does feel like we're in that zone where they've tested enough to get it out to the market, and now we're their test dummies, so to speak. Is it going to make it, or is it not? Or is it a paper straw?
Man, that makes me feel like installers should get some literature to protect themselves. If this product hasn't been to market for X amount of years and we're missing certain tests that we currently have with material that's been out for X amount of years, then we shouldn't be held liable for failures that are outside of the testing realm, outside of the scope of what you've tested.
Well, you just got to keep doing the same thing that you always do, which is follow the instructions
right,
and the specifications to the T, and that is your protection. It's not.
I think
like
it's you have to
remove your
liability. An open mind, right? You have to ask questions, and that's what I do. I've done these things a million times, and it's always like, hold on, let me still read this because make sure I'm doing it right, even though I've done it a million times. And then, like you said, I even call some of the reps sometimes, and it's like, hey, I'm doing this over here. This is what I'm thinking. They're like, why'd you even call me? Because, man, I need to make sure, because I don't want to.
Why'd you even call me? Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to hear it from somebody else, right? You got to get confirmation. And that's what it is. And the way Daniel perceives it and calls and talks about it, it might be spot on, but he's saying it a little bit different. So it's actually helping the reps too. That way he can communicate with more people on different levels.
Well, and we can't. The truth is, you cannot say the specs are so clear that they always you can just read them and understand. Sometimes you have
people like Andy probably write the specs, and I don't even think he speaks English that good.
Well, the people writing the specs, and the we have to understand them. If we don't understand them, you definitely better call. But even if you do, it's good to hear, because they do end up with some tricks. When I talk to the guy on our our product, I'm not gonna. I got to be careful because I don't want to call out anybody. But at the end of the day, that he was very clear, starting to give us some kind of little tips and tricks to this product. But even he was like, I haven't put my hands on it as much as other products. So so that's why I'm curious where we're at in this whole journey of learning this this new approach. I don't know how to say it any better than I was going to look up a spec for it and give you an example, because I was reading one the other day. And I was like, what is this saying to me? What am I supposed to do? It contradicted itself a couple of times. I was like, what in the world?
Got some double negatives in the specifications and the instructions.
And the good thing about our industry too is that once you get into it, I've talked to people and I've read the instructions, and I get back to them, and I'm like, well, look, man, it doesn't say that in your stuff. And then I read the instructions again later on, and they changed it to exactly what we talked about. So that's the kind of pull we have as installers when you're trying to do things right.
Yep. All right. Well, guys, we have reached the end of the podcast, and I want to remind you to give us some love out there on the social media channels, like and subscribe to our stuff. Continue. We're going to be, next year needing some new topics. So shoot them our way. Thank you for everybody who participates in that. We're not asking you to write an article. We're just asking you to give us a topic to research and address, and maybe even get an expert on if they can make it. And then
We had a run of bad luck lately, haven't we?
yeah, it happens. It's getting to the end of the year, lots of travel, lots of Christmas, lots of New
Yeah.
Year's. So, remember to like and subscribe to support our sponsors. If you have not checked out Live Switch, do that. Trust me, you will appreciate at least what they're bringing to the table to maximize your time leveraging technology. As you guys know, as founder of TradeTap, I love finding ways that technology can help us installers to make more money, be more profitable, be more efficient, and LiveSwitch fits that bill. So check them out. All right, guys. Well, you guys ready for Tice? I'm ready for Christmas. Then I'm gonna really start barreling down, thinking about.
I'm barely ready for tomorrow, bro. Come on now.
It's about how I feel too.
All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks, Andy, for giving it your best shot. We know you're traveling, and we'll catch you guys next week.